do initial settings via that front screen, first we need to do is get into initial settings. So top right hand corner, got a little menu button there. And then we're going to go into initial settings. And then it's going to ask us for a username and a password. So your usernames you normally set to initial, unless anyone's changed it. And then your password is init, followed by your DP reference. On that first initial screen, first thing we've seen there is date and time. So getting those correct and setting them up the way you want to. And you're happy with that. Move on from there. And one of the first things I want to play about with here, because I want to see the indoor units, is I'm going to go into groups. Because the centralized controller won't populate itself. You need to tell it which indoor units are actually on this centralized controller. Reason being is, we could have multiple centralized controls in the building for, say, different tenants, potentially off the same system. So that's why we do it that way. For test purposes in here, I'm going to run everything individually. So I'm going to put everything in its own separate group and do it that way. So that's all the individual units now set up, each one of them in their own separate group. And so I'm doing that for testing purposes. I am in a training room. If I wanted to have two of the units working together, I simply put them in the same group. But bear in mind, make it so the group numbers relate to the lowest address unit in that group. So it's not a problem actually having a gap in the grouping. I'll show you. So for example here, if I want to say units 4 and 5 are going to be working together, take that unit out of there. Okay, and add it into group 4. You've now got both units in group 4, nothing in group 5, and then there's group 6. It's really important when you start connecting and say building management system into the back end of this, say something like BACnet or Modbus or something like that, because they see the group numbers and they look for the gaps to work out how many indoor units are in each group. I haven't added any controls onto this yet. So if we've got PAR Euro 2 controllers that have actually got addressing on there, we can add that in as well. So come onto the controller, specify, for example here, 104. My first indoor in that group is 4, so therefore I've addressed the controller as 104, so that fits in with the way we do our schematics, and that's what you're seeing there. You can also add in things like LOSNAs. So if I want to interlock the LOSNA with the actual units, I just need to tell it which indoor unit it's going to be working with. So that can be done from this page as well. Before we go any further, let's just save those settings. Then interlock LOSNA settings. I give an address to my LOSNA, which in this situation is actually unit 8. That's how I've set it up here. And I'm going to interlock that with unit 7. That's straightforward. If I go into network, in there, I can put in the IP address. So that's a discussion with the IT manager, see what they're willing to accept. And also you've got connections there for LAN 1 and for LAN 2. So LAN 1 is your, should we say, normal connection. So we're going to connect in, say, a PC or something like that. LAN 2 is for that BACnet output. When you're happy with what you've done here, press the save button. And then come back out to the front screen. So come back to the front screen by pressing 2 little binoculars at the side, and so you sure you want to do that. So yes, I want to apply settings. After a short while, the screen will come through, and then you'll be able to see all the icons. So you can see all these extra groups you've added in there, and then we can just make sure they're all working fine. If you've got the addressing incorrect, you've asked it to look for something that's not actually there, you'll get 6607 faults appearing on the centralized controller, and that will get flagged up on your little exclamation mark there. Now that I've got these all the way I want them, I can select a couple of those, for example, and I can switch them on, play about the temperature, nice and basic. If I want a bit more advanced features, into the advanced, and now I can start changing around modes, things like that. So there we go. And that's us running.